thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
Solomini, a top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner, Winstock, and Stakes winner, Solo Shot. Solomini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 two-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solomini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
Welcome, everyone. Here we are on another great weekend of racing. This weekend, of course, as everyone knows, Saturday we do have the Preakness, but we're going to get started tomorrow, Friday, the Black-Eyed Susan. And both cards have excellent races on them. I mean, I think there's some places you could make some good money betting pick 5s, pick 4s, or even just straight up bets on some price horses. I think there could be a couple of price horses on both days, but you're going to have 2 different types of weathers. We're going to have a really nice day tomorrow out at Baltimore at Pimlico Racetrack for the Black-Eyed Susan. It should be a fast track. It should be a firm, turf. But Saturday, it's a complete different story. Sloppy track, most likely. They should have rain pretty much all day. About the turf, I have no idea how that turf will react to. I don't know how much rain they're going to get, but it sounds like they're going to get their fair share of rain itself. So, with that being said, now the other news is that the Preakness favorite, which was Muth from the Bob Baffert barn, came up with a fever and will not be racing in the race, which is terrible because I thought that race was ended up being a pretty decent race, and it was going to be tough to catch Muth overall. But now it changes the whole picture. So we'll check into that and see how that all turns out for us. Some people are, conspiracy theorists out there are saying, Baffert, didn't want to run the horse or this and that. And it's so silly because a fever is a fever. And, it's just the way it goes. You do not run a horse that gets fevers. And trust me, horses get fevers all the time, just like little kids. But here we go. We're going to start on the Friday's race, and which is going to be the Black-Eyed Susan, going 1 1/8 for the fillies. Janine Marie. What can I say about this horse? She's ran a couple of decent races the last 2 times in small stakes. She's making a big step up here for a Grade 2. I do not blame the owners for this, because you get a Grade 2 finish in there. That means you have black type on your mare when you go to the breeding shed, which helps out a lot for the money part of it when you sell your foals or even sell your mares or anything like that. This trainer, Robert Reed, gets in the money 53% of the time. ROI is plus 3%, so not too bad. But in my personal opinion, I believe that this horse is just a little bit over her head, but we'll see. I might be surprised in this. Ringy Dingy, the number 2 horse. This horse last time out didn't do too well in a Grade 2. Finished 17 lengths behind. That's not too good. Did win a small stakes before that. It's tough to see if you want to be in here. Another owner probably most likely trying to reach for that black type finish, and they're just hoping they hit the board on that aspect, but I don't see that horse in the win column. The 3, Lemon Muffin, probably the most seasoned of them all, it seems like. Wayne Lucas puts this horse in here. Wayne Lukas, when he throws them in stakes, he might not get the big win percentage, which is 7%, but he gets 35% in the money, and his ROI is 23%. That is very, very good. Can this horse handle these horses here, this class? Yes. Do I think she's got a shot? Probably for the minor part of the awards. I just don't see her winning this race. I don't know if it's setting it up enough for her or not. Flavien Prat's aboard, which is definitely a plus. But for me, not for my money in this race. We will move on to the 4-horse. Now, there's been a lot of talk. I hear a lot of talk about this horse. A lot of people are saying a lot of great things about this horse. How this horse is just getting better and better by each day. This horse has won 3 in a row. It already has the hat trick already. Won a small stakes race last time out, beating Janine Marie, the 1 horse. The trainer here, when he puts them in races and stake races, 15% win. Not too bad, but in the money, 49%. That's really good. And look at this, 22% ROI, return on your investment. That's excellent. And when he uses this jockey, Jamie Rodriguez, their ROI together is 26% to the plus. Another excellent thing. Do I see this horse winning? I think it might have met its match now of going to levels, but you cannot blame them one bit. I would be trying here also with this horse because it looks like the talk is right about her, that she is hot. But I think this might be a tad bit over her head. For minor awards, definitely, I think this horse has got a shot at that. So I would look at that horse for some minor award stuff. But we'll see if she can hit that win column. I would be surprised. The 5, Gun Song. This horse last time out just gave up at the end, lost by 7 3/4 length. Was fighting pretty good in this grade 2, was at the Gulfstream Park Oaks, and didn't do too bad if you ask me. So this horse definitely has got the class to run with these other fillies. I think this horse has definitely got a shot of hitting the board here, possibly a win. But Johnny Velasquez and Mark Henning is, in my opinion, an excellent trainer. Sometimes his numbers, especially of late, has not matched to what type of trainer he is. I mean, right now, look at his stakes. When he has 8 horses, he put in stakes, 0% win, 38% in the money. But, I think he's a much, much better. I know he's a much better trainer than that. Johnny Velasquez is aboard, and you definitely got to look at this this horse for some win and exotics and maybe, exactas and stuff like that. And if you're doing a pick 5, you might want to look at it's a little scary if you could open up your wallet a little bit and toss this one in with your others. This might be one that you might want to do. We'll move on down to the 6. Who could ask for more? I could always ask for more money, please. But this horse, the last 2 times, is running a grade 2 to grade 3. Pretty much ran even in both races. Not too bad. It's not, the worst thing in the world. Today, I look up here, first time on blinkers. Now, this is what the Race Lens does. Race Lens will give you all this information here, first time on blinkers, just like the daily racing form. But this one, they will break down the last 30 days of the trainer, gets 10% of the win, 30% of the money. With this jockey, 18% of the money, off for 1 or 2 months. They'll give all these stats for you. First time on blinkers, 16 starts, 0 wins, but 31% of the money. So, and when he's in stakes, 12% win, 43% of the money. And of course, the ROI is a negative 17%, which isn't too bad, to be honest with you. As long as it's a small double-digit percent, that is not bad at all. And when I say small, anything under 30% or less is excellent, in my opinion. When it comes to this horse, though, running even the last 2 times, going to have to pick up the pace. I think that's why they're adding the blinkers today. Luis Saez is aboard. I think this horse has to improve and needs to improve. And I think they might get a little bit of that in there. So I would say definitely for some of the exotics. And we'll see how that goes for her. Corpozo, Peter, he trains out in California. Excellent trainer. This horse has been doing everything right out there. Finished 3rd in a grade 2. Kind of flattened out right there at the last part of the race. Not too bad. And if you ever want to, if you get race lens over here, right over here where I'm circling this, you could watch their last race right there, and you can see what that all looks like. Like I said, Peter, when he gets in the stakes races, he puts him in the stakes, he gets 18% win, 50% in the money. Off for 1 or 2 months, his ROI is a plus 27%. That's really, really good. And they even give some strong notes down here on this horse. A strong performance last time out on the track. I do believe that was a strong performance. Anyway, definitely this horse could handle the class. So this is definitely a player in this race. And I think she's a player for the win column. And you got to look out for her. Recharge. Another one from Steve Ashmanson. Joe Rosario is aboard. This horse has got the speed, has the speed. This will be your leader most likely. If you look at her last race or so, this horse was out in front, but did stop at the end. And who knows what the excuse is, but she's dropping in class today. She's not meeting as tough as horses as she ran against Torpedo Anna, which, you know, come on, in the fantasy stakes. And Torpedo Anna, let's put it this way, was a complete beast in the Oaks. So look out. This horse ran, with this horse, changed of jockeys Torres to Rosario. Rosario won with her before, and there's a lot of nice things. Steve gets 22%. Now, Steve puts a lot of horses in stakes races. He's got a lot of stakes caliber horses in his barn. He's got 267 that he's entered in stakes. I mean, that's tremendous. And to have a 22% win rate at that, that's excellent. So with that being said, he's always right there, and he does very well with it. So I think this is another horse for the win column. You better look out and check out what that all looks like. So we broke down that race a little bit. In that race, like I said, there's a couple of contenders for in the money. You got a couple of contenders for the win, in my opinion. This is what I like for, how I'm going to bet it, like exactas and whatnot I'm going to do. I personally believe in this race, if you followed me on the Oaks, I hit the Oaks exacta, and I think this is another one of those that you played the exacta, the 7-8. And in the try, I'm just going to do the 7-8, 5, and the 6, because I think the 5 and 6 definitely both have a shot at hitting that third spot. And then I'm going to play a pick 5. It starts in the 9th race, And I'm going to go 4 deep in the 9th, but I got a single in the 10th, the 3 horse. And then the 11th, I'm going 4 deep. The 12th, I'm going 4 deep. And then in this 8th, the 12th, the 13th, I'm going with the 7 and 8 only. I'm going to try to narrow this down. So keep the pick 5 ticket reasonable in the low. I think it's like 128, right in that ballpark. And basically, if I hit my exacta, I'm going to be paying for pretty much the entire thing, I believe. So with that, just hitting the exacta. And like I said, if you follow me on the Oaks, I hit the Oaks exacta. Unfortunately, I had a lot of seconds in the Oaks for my pick 5, and so I didn't hit the pick 5, but I had a lot of seconds. I know seconds don't really count, but that's what happened to me on that day. So let's move on to the Preakness day. Now, in this day, remember, it's going to be sloppy, so we're going to get a complete different type of race, most likely. Mile and 3/16. Of course, this is a grade 1 for $2 million. So, Magatu, I guess that's how you pronounce this name of this horse. Joe Bravo's aboard. This horse, the last couple of times, has not really done much, especially in the grade 1. Finished 5th, 7th, some lengths behind. Behind Sierra Leone, just a touch, Epic Ride. And, you know, we all know how Sierra Leone, that was my pick for the Kentucky Derby. We lost by a half of an inch, if that. Sierra Leone finished 2nd in that race, and we all know now that that's a beast. And, you know, finished 5th behind that horse is probably really not a bad thing. Maybe I would have liked it a little bit closer, of course, but that's how it is. The horse was much closer in a small stakes, just finished 8th, but he only finished 2.5 lengths behind. So this horse does have some talent, moving up in class for sure. For me, I just see at best some of the minor awards, maybe finishing up your super or your try, but it's not for me in this race. The 2, Uncle Heavy. This horse is kind of interesting. Last time out in a grade 2, finished 5th, 11 ranks behind in the Wood. But before that, won grade 3 here, and then at Aqueduct, and it's done pretty good. This horse does have talent, does have closing speed, and if you look right over here, when this horse did win at Aqueduct, was a muddy track. Are we going to have muddy? Are we going to have sloppy? Are we going to have good? Always keep that in mind. A sloppy track, in my opinion, and how I've always seen it in the past, sloppy track is pretty much like a fast track. If you got a speed horse, especially a lone speed horse, they're going to be very tough to catch. And it's tough for closers to come from behind. Now, if you have a good track or a muddy track, they have a better chance, because usually that's a little bit of a tiring track for your front runners or your front group, and your come from behinders like Uncle Heavy can make an excellent move. And if you look at this horse's 2 wins, that's the type of track he had. So for the win column right now, I'm going to put it no. For some exotics, I'm going to say yes. But pay attention to the track throughout the day and see how it's playing. If it's favoring mid-pack or front runners, then I would have to stay away from this horse. If a lot of closers are winning, meaning that the track is getting tiring for the front runners, or at least close to the mid-pack horses, this horse definitely has a shot. the 3, Catching Freedom. Ran a decent race. Matter of fact, a very good race in the Kentucky Derby, finishing 4th behind the Mystic Dan, Sierra Leone, and Forever Young. Well, Mystic Dan is in this race. Forever Young and Sierra Leone ran an excellent bang-up race for 2nd and 3rd. Those top 3 horses that were at the Kentucky Derby, excellent rides by all 3 jockeys. You cannot if you're an owner or a trainer of all 3 of any of those 3, you cannot complain about the race. They ran excellent. They did everything they could to win that race. That's just the way it's happened. The cookie crumbles, how the old saying is. Catching Freedom had to go weaving out, in and out, and had to do a lot of work also. Ran a very good race for 4th. So this horse is definitely a contender here. Pratt is aboard again. Cox is brings him right back. So that makes me believe that this horse is ready to go. Now, is it too short for this horse? I don't know. It might be. I thought they would save this horse for the Belmont personally. But this horse has definitely got a shot. And you should look at this horse. And once again, look how the track's playing. This horse ran on a sloppy track once before. Finished a very close 3rd, just a length and looks like a quarter off of the winner, which was Sierra Leone. So everyone keeps on running into that monster there, Sierra Leone, somehow, and they do get beat by that horse. But definitely made a shot at it. This horse definitely has a shot at this race, and you should definitely look at this horse. Muth is scratched. We've already discussed that in the beginning of the show. So we're going to move on down to the 5. Mystic Dan, your Kentucky Derby winner. He's trying to go for the 2nd jewel of the Triple Crown. A lot of people always root for that. They always love it. They like to see it. This horse, Kenny McPeak, he's an excellent trainer. He won both the Oaks and the Derby, which proves that now that he's an excellent trainer. And Brian Hernandez is his go-to guy as a rider, excellent rider. He's put him in this race. He says he's ready. He's been eating up his oats and everything, as he says. And, I personally thought if Muth was in this race, I thought this horse had a much better chance because, of getting there because, you would have had Muth out in front, the other Bob Baffert horse most likely sitting 2nd. Mystic Dan and I think it's Tuscan Gold. Tuscan Gold, would sit a 3rd or 4th, and it would have played out a different way. And let's see if Mystic Dan would have had a kick. Now, with Muth being out of the race, Imagination in this race, Baffert's other horse will most likely be your leader. If that horse gets an easy lead, he's going to be tough to catch. Now, once again, we have to look at the track. I know there's a lot of ifs on this race today for Saturday, but that's how it is when it rains. If it's a sloppy track, Imagination could run away with it if no one keeps him in check. I see Mystic Dan as the one that might keep him in check. And if that's the case, will he use too much of his energy on that? He came out of a very tough race, and he was tiring big time in the Derby. Sierra Leone and Forever Young were flying at him pretty good. I'm just wondering, is Mystic Dan going to be too much if he goes up there and matches wits with Imagination? This horse is definitely a shot to win this, get the win of the second jewel of the crown, Triple Crown. But for me, I'm going to back off on him. I'm going to take a little bit of a chance and say I think it's too much now. With Muth in there, it would have probably been a different story. The 6, Seize the Gray. Ran excellent on Derby Day. Ran on the Pat Day Mile. Winning the Pat Day Mile, coming to the Preakness. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out for Dean Wayne Lucas and Jamie Torres. Definitely has a shot at some of the minor awards, in my opinion. will be flying late. Has run on a muddy track, finished third. Run on a sloppy track. Of course, this is back when he was a maiden. Broke his maiden on a sloppy track going wire to wire. You don't know what Dornoch was in that, actually, his maiden race. That says a lot there, huh? So this horse definitely has talent, especially for the off-going. But I think right now, I think he's up against it. But for some of the minor awards, he's definitely got a shot at that. Just Steel, the other Lucas horse. Joe Rosario takes over in the saddle. The horse didn't do that well in the Derby at all. Finished 17th out of 20. Got bumped early, but then again, who doesn't get bumped in the Derby? The horse didn't show much at all. So I would probably back off on this horse until I see the form of this horse turning back the right way. This horse has ran on a muddy track, finished second, so it does like the off-going. A sloppy track at Churchill, finished third. So the horse has definitely got talent, especially when it comes to the off-going, but not for my money. Tuscan Go, the other horse I was talking about that would probably sit third or fourth going around this race now officially. This horse is definitely moving up in class, but this horse has done everything correct. Broke its maiden very good. Finished third, in the Louisiana Derby behind Catching Freedom and Honor Marie. Did a lot of great things in that race. Ran even throughout the whole race. Ran third all the way around. I personally love that on a young horse. They learn a lot in that, and especially with that class that he ran against, doing that. That's excellent. Chad Brown, the trainer of Sierra Leone, loves this horse. The way this horse has been training in the morning, says it's the best he's ever been. He has put 310 horses in stakes races, and he's winning at 21% clip, in the money 50%. And look at his ROI, plus 2%. For a trainer that does that many horses and has that good of an ROI, return on your investment, at 2% in the plus, that's excellent. You cannot do any better with this jockey. They get 18% win, 49% of the money with Tyler Gaffalione aboard. So I think he's got this horse ready to go, ready to rock and roll. This horse looks like he can handle this. I think how in this race is going to happen, he will be sitting in the third spot, right behind Mystic Dan and Imagination. They're going to go out in front. And I see this horse taking over late in the lane and finishing out in front of them, in my personal opinion. Imagination, the other Baffert horse, the number 9 horse, I thought was going to be the one that was going to sit really nice and easy behind Muth. Now I think this horse is not going to get an easy trip. I think they're going to battle it with Mystic Dan personally. If he does not battle it with Mystic Dan, he might get that easy lead, and then he will be tough to beat. This horse does have some speed to go out there. So especially if you're going to look at that track, and if it's a sloppy track or if it's a fast track, which I'm going to doubt, it's going to be fast, he might get an easy lead. So you better watch your back on this one. But Tuscan Go, I still say, is going to get both of them. I think Mystic Dan and Imagination will go at each other and tire each other out on that. So we went through the Preakness now. We've already gone through the Black-Eyed Susan. So this is how I see, and this is how I would play the Preakness itself. And here we go. I'm going for a win bet on that 8. You're still going to get decent odds. I think a lot of people are going to now really jump all over Mystic Dan. I think when Muth was in there, Muth was going to be the favorite. Mystic Dan was going to be the co-favorite. Now I think Mystic Dan is going to take a lot of money now, and I think he's going to be overplayed. So I still think Tuscan Gold will probably go off as your third favorite, which would probably be around 5 or 6 to 1. I will take that. Exacta, I'm going to take Tuscan Gold with Imagination. I'm going for it. And in my trifecta, I'm going with those top 2 horses in the top spot. Of course, I'm putting the top 2 horses in all 3 spots, but the top spot, those top 2 horses, the 8 and 9. And then I'm also adding the 5 and the 3 in the second spot. And then I will add the 2, which is Uncle Heavy in that third spot. The pick 5 starts in race 9. I'm going with 3 horses in the 9th. That's the 4, 5, 10. 3 horses in the 10th is 10, 5, 8. Then I'm going 4 horses in the 11th, 10, 11, 12, and the 2. And then the 12th, the 3, 12, 9, and 5. And I'm going for it. I'm going to just single Tuscan Gold. I'm going for it. Try to get a price. I'm using my money elsewhere. This ticket's right around the $120-some range. I'm just going to break it down like that. So I'm going for it with Tuscan Gold. If the Exacta comes in, if the 9 Imagination, happens to win, I'll at least get most of my money, if not all of my money, back on the bets that I just played, on the pick 5 trifecta win. I'll at least get most of it back on that. But I'm going for the big win here. I'm going to go with Tuscan Gold as my single. So there you have it. I got both the Black Eyed Susan and the Preakness in there. So anybody has any questions to me about anything about gambling itself as a trainer? Why do they do certain things? Why do they take a horse out if they have a fever out 4 days before the race? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of things that go into it. It takes energy out of the horse, just like yourself. Think about yourself. You get a fever one day. The very next day, you're not feeling good. It takes 2 or 3 days for you to start feeling good, and you can't just say, hey, he's going to run. That's not fair to the betting public or the horse itself. So, but anyway, you got any questions, send me an email at charles@passthewire, and check out Race Lens and check out their past performances, all the things they break down in the past performances of the jockey, the trainer, and what their win percentages are. And there's a lot more other tools. We're going to be breaking them down. But to everyone, let's go out there and get some winners, huh? Let's do it.
Nobody does it better.